Hi, everybody.
Hi.
I'm Alana.
And I'm Tamara.
And welcome to podcast
Primas.
We do that again.
We did it. We made it to episode 10. Thanks for being on this ride with us so far and for making us a small part of your life. Now, I'm going to ask what's thought of as a very simple question, and I'd like for you to give a very honest and thoughtful answer. Here it goes. How are you doing? If you had to choose between A, just living, B, thriving, or C, surviving, which would you choose? On this episode, we talk about how majority of our community answered and why. Backed by research data and a tall glass of vulnerability, we tried to scratch the surface on the current state of our country's mental health, leading us to a deeper understanding of our meaning behind the phrases living your best life and it's okay to not be okay. This is not going to be tagged as one of our happy episodes, but we felt that this was a conversation worth having with each other and with you. Side note, we had some technical difficulties with our microphones, but had to push on through. Such is life. The quality isn't as good as we'd like it to be, but we feel like it is good enough. And sometimes that's all we can do. And thank you. Enjoy.
Hello, everyone. We're laughing because if you only knew what it took for us to be in this chair recording right now. But we here.
We had a few technical difficulties to say the least.
Yeah, but we did it.
But we did it.
We're here. Welcome to episode 10 of podcast Primas.
Episode 10.
Yeah, here we go. We've done it.
Yeah.
Today's topic is entitled Living, Thriving, or Surviving the Human Experience. Now, living as in things are good, things aren't bad, they're okay. You know, we're just living. It's all right.
Yeah.
Nothing's great, nothing's bad. You know.
We're existing.
Yeah. Thriving as in I am just
Stoked on life.
Stoked. Things are working out. I feel good about pretty much everything. I'm feeling good inside. I'm feeling good outside. Life is good. Yeah. You know.
Sounds great.
But then that's the thing, like, we've all gone through, like, there's been moments in life where we are thriving.
Oh,
totally. I've had big moments in life, thriving moments in life, and I had big, just
not so.
Life is just life right now. And lastly, or surviving, where it's an effort, or it feels like an effort to get through every day, and it feels like an effort to feel like life is good. I know this may sound quite dramatic to say surviving, right? Because there are, all things considered with what's going on in the world and the amount of people that are literally trying to survive. This is definitely a first world, I guess, viewpoint perhaps, but we're taking more of a mental health perspective on the term surviving.
An honest one.
Yeah.
Not to trivialize what anybody's going through, but just an honest.
Yes. And because the reason why this topic came up, because currently it seems like this is something that the vast majority of people feel like they're going through. Yeah. And most people, as though they're saying they're surviving or living in survival mode. And what is survival mode? I think before we start talking about everything, we want to give a very clear idea of what survival mode is defined as, what it looks like, can you relate to it? So before we get into deeper discussion, Tamara is going to read what's quite a lengthy kind of excerpt from Psychology Today, but I think we feel like all of it is worth reading, and give us a couple minutes.
Yeah, so this is from Psychology Today. Life can be busy and chaotic. Many of us are experts at being in survival mode, in that we have learned to go through the motions in life and to do what we need to do. This might be an effective way to complete tasks and navigate our hectic schedules, yet what are the consequences of going through life in survival mode? Survival mode involves adaptive psychological changes in our body that help us respond to the stressors that we are faced with. When we experience stress, a sequence of hormonal changes and psychological responses occur in our body that allow us to respond by preparing them to fight, flight, or freeze. And that is from the Harvard Health Publishing 2018.
Yeah, Harvard.
Yeah. Consider an example of the value of the body's stress response system. One day, as you're taking a hike through the woods, you hear a rustling in the brush that appears to be coming towards you. Perhaps it's a bear. In response to this noise, your body commences a stress response, sending a cascade of adrenaline, cortisol, and other hormones to give you the energy needed to fight or flight in incoming danger. Although this story may seem to be one of that is hard to relate to, consider the potential bears or dangerous animals in your life. When you face the dangerous animals in your life of looming deadlines, challenges at work, relational challenges, financial difficulties, or other stressors, have you experienced the surge of hormones that we are discussing that give you the energy to need to go through the motions? The stress response is adaptive and important to help us respond to stressors, yet going through the motions for too long is unsustainable and can leave us feeling disconnected, exhausted, and detached from life. When we are surviving for too long, we can feel the effects it has on us. At times, our body may overreact to stressors that we experience. What if our body is responding to a situation as if it is a bear when it is in fact a rabbit? Yeah. There we go.
And that rings true.
Oh, for sure. A frequent stress response and overexposure to stress response hormones can take a toll on the body, take a toll on your emotional health, impact our relationships, lead to a number of medical issues, and increase risk for anxiety and depression. As with all things, too much of this good thing, our body working to protect us and help us to survive, can actually become a bad thing. So what does this mean? And how do we help ourselves cope with stress and decrease the amount of time that we are in survival mode or going through the motions? In response to stress, it can be tempting to stay in survival mode, riding the waves of stress like a roller coaster and white knuckling our way through life. There are a few things that may help us on our journeys. 1, connect with yourself. Survival mode often involves disconnection and at times disassociation. Connection is key in learning how to live instead of survive. Some ways to do this is to ask yourself, what do I need? When in survival mode, we often overlook our needs and our emotions to keep getting by. What is your body telling you? Are you tired? Have you eaten today? What are your emotions telling you? Are you scared, angry, or sad? Take a moment to connect with yourself and listen to your needs so that you can respond the way that you want to versus the way that you may feel compelled to. Number 2, connect with others. Seek support from a friend, a loved one, therapist, or safe place who can help you gain connection to yourself and others. Gaining connection with others helps us to gain perspective, ground ourselves, and learn to live instead of survive. Exercise. Number 3. Exercise is number 3. It is literally my job. Exercise, especially cardiovascular exercise, is wildly and widely recognized as an effective way to help the body cope with stress and hormones that are involved in the body's stress response. Exercise is so huge. That's why so many people say, this is my therapy.
Move the energy out of your body.
Yep, channel it out for sure. Be kind to yourself. Don't shame yourself. Remember that you didn't ask to be stuck in this cycle. Our bodies are masters at adapting, and sometimes they can adapt to the unhealthy environment instead of adapting in the way that is most helpful for us. When our bodies are stuck in the cycle of survival mode, it is important to know that it takes time to break this cycle.
So real. It's so true.
I know that I can relate to every single point.
Every single point. So that was a lot to listen to, and that may have been a bit long-winded, but we really wanted to find a piece that spoke to what we understand, what we observed, what we felt in our lives survival mode was.
Relate to.
Right. And there were so many pieces that I was looking at that were very clinical, very impersonal, not touching on emotional or relational kind of effects that it may have.
Yeah.
So thank you for listening, but we found that to be worthwhile and definitely the best piece that we could find that embodied everything we understand and can identify with as far as survival mode and how it has affected us and the people around us.
Totally.
Also, to complement that, I wanted to share current statistics on how many people are having mental health challenges, what they are, age groups, all of those things currently, because those numbers are rising. And these statistics are based off of people that have been professionally diagnosed. So we need to take into consideration the amount of people who don't have access to a therapist to get professionally diagnosed. They don't have the resources, whatever it may be, the culture, the community around them doesn't support this, whatever that may be, or people that may have, substance abuse issues or mental health challenges that are too proud or aren't ready or are not willing to take that step to see someone and get diagnosed. So these numbers are in fact factual, but I want to just raise awareness to the fact that there are so many people out there who are not willing or not able to get to a therapist to get diagnosed and be part of what these statistics are, because I believe that it's probably much higher than what I'm about to share with you.
For sure.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Yes. So this is from Forbes Health. It was published on January 25th, 2023, so it's quite recent.
Yeah.
Age groups. Young adults ages 18 to 25 in the U.S. have the highest rate of experiencing mental health conditions at 30.6%.
Man, that is...
Followed by those ages 26 to 49 at 25.3%, and adults ages 50 and over 14.5%. Females are diagnosed with serious mental health conditions at higher rates than males at 7% compared to the 4.2% of males.
Now, Alana and I talked about this before when we were reading the statistics, and not that we feel necessarily men have more mental issues than women, or women have more mental health issues than men, but that's kind of unfair because women talk to each other.
I think they're more open to probably seeking help, and whether that's a toxic masculinity effect of men don't.
Because when she read the numbers, I was like, I disagree.
Oh, I completely disagree.
I think, I would have thought men would be higher, but that means that these people went to seek help because they've been diagnosed.
Like I said, I had to give you that disclaimer, definitely.
But all that shows is that more women seek help.
And because it's probably more accepted in women's circles.
Absolutely.
And that. So, okay, here's a look at how individuals across the U.S. are affected by mental health conditions. Anxiety. Anxiety disorders such as generalized anxiety, obsessive compulsive disorder, and panic disorder are some of the most commonly diagnosed mental health conditions in the U.S., affecting 42.5 million adults. Depression. 21 million U.S. adults are living with depression, while 3.7 million people ages 12 to 17 experience major depression, and 2.5 million people ages 12 to 17 experience severe depression.
Wow.
PTSD. There are 12 million U.S. adults living with post-traumatic stress disorder. Bipolar disorder. There are 3.3 million U.S. adults with a bipolar disorder diagnosis. Schizophrenia. Around 1.5 million U.S. adults have a diagnosis of schizophrenia. While the percentage of the U.S. adults receiving mental health treatment increased from 19.2% in 2019 to 21.6% in 2021, 42% of U.S. adults with a diagnosable condition reported in 2023 that they could not afford to access the treatment they needed. 42%
That's huge.
of U.S. adults. That's huge. 93.5% of adults with a substance abuse disorder did not receive treatment in the past year. 93.5% of adults with substance abuse disorder.
Yeah,
That's
a lot.
10% of youth covered by private insurance did not have access to mental health services in 2022. Underscoring a shortage of mental health professionals, a recent report cited only one provider was available for every 350 individuals in need of service. This is a problem.
This is a huge problem.
I thought these stats are
It's alarming.
Yeah, it's alarming. It's hard,
That's the hard thing about this country,
Mhm.
that if you don't have the money,
It's
good
a
luck
hard,
to you.
100%. And it's, on the other hand, this country is so far ahead where at least there are avenues to get it. I mean, in some countries that's like not even a thought or an option or even something that you know to seek. I'm not saying that we're doing it right. I'm just saying
Yes.
it can be better and it can be
But for a
worse.
quote unquote first world country.
Yeah.
We can talk about that another time.
Yeah.
That can be a subject on
Yeah.
another day.
And another reason why we thought it was very important for this to be the topic of today, and it is a little bit of a heavy topic, and I think it's necessary to talk about, was I was thinking about conversations that I was having with loved ones, with friends, and I decided to take it upon myself to do an Instagram story post. And in my Instagram story post, I asked, in your current life right now, if you were to honestly answer this question, it's a very basic question, but the depth of it is pretty deep. And if you were to answer it honestly, I asked, do you currently feel like you are A, just living, B, thriving, C, surviving? Some people came in thriving. Some people said just living. Majority of people answered surviving.
Yeah.
So I'm just going to ask you, just to get into this next part of the discussion, the same question that I asked on Instagram.
Yeah.
Do you currently feel like you are just living, thriving, or surviving? And maybe a little bit as to why you feel the way you feel.
Yeah. I am currently surviving, as I think, like you said, a lot of people are right now. And that's definitely been a discussion with my friends and I lately, and you and family. It's been a really long time since I've been this deep into survival mode. I think we all kind of hit little pockets of it along the way, and it's pretty normal and natural. This has been the first time in a long time that I haven't really been able to get out of it. And I've tried all my tools: exercise, connecting with family members, connecting with myself, as we discussed on the list. I'm very familiar with those tools, and I'm very proud that I've worked hard to make sure that those are always available to me, but they haven't really worked. And I think there's a lot at play with that. I think that we really underestimate what we all went through with the pandemic. And we were still super blessed in that situation. We had each other. We had a home, thanks to you. We had food every day, thanks to you. But most of all, we had each other, and we were protected and taken care of. For me, my life changed completely, and everything went kind of upside down. I lost my job. I didn't have a place to live, and just trying to keep going and pick up the pieces and like continue where you left off, but not, and just going through the motions. And I really feel like I was just blindly going through the motions of my life from that point, and then it just all hit me, which is very on brand for me, which I'm sure it is for many people. But for me, things don't hit me until later. And that is just so my process. And I will push until I can't anymore. And the thing is that I don't know I'm doing it. And I really wish and then hope I can get to a place where I can like know I'm doing it so that I don't hit this like wall that is so like unexpected. And like, I'm like, okay, there's a wall. Let me throw a rope over it and see if I can climb. Let me see if there's a way around it. Let me get a jackhammer and start to bulldoze through this thing. And man, nothing's been working. So I've been currently and personally really battling that lately while still going through the motions of life because we gotta. Yeah.
And do you think it's, like you said right now, just the effects of everything that happened with COVID, or, you know, we can't go outside, we can't do this, we can like, and then every single week or every month it was like something new, and like, you know, do you think it's that finally catching up with you, or do you think there's other elements in life right now that are something different, maybe not COVID related, that are causing this challenge right now?
I think it's a mix of things. I think that around the era of COVID and following it, it definitely was. That's why there's memes and stuff made about it. It was just like slap, backhand, kick, punch to the gut, push you to the ground, kick you again. Like there was just like again and again, one more thing. It's like how many more things can we all go through? And it wasn't necessarily just things affecting me personally, but I'm not saying everyone should feel this way, but it's the way that I feel. I get very affected how everyone's being affected. And sometimes I wish it didn't hit me so hard because you're feeling what you're feeling, and then you're taking on the emotion of what's going on over there and right here and under there. And it's just a lot. And on top of that, it's a mix of a lot of change happening in my life right now. Just personally, there's a lot of big change that has happened, and I have taken massive leaps in my life. I have kind of a record of just taking these crazy massive leaps and just saying yes to opportunities and moving to different places and meeting new people and changing my life. And I guess I expected this change and jump to be similar to those in the past. And I'm a different person now. I'm such a different person. I'm in a different place, and I don't bounce back the way I used to. And I didn't expect that. It's like I took a jump and the floor or the bottom wasn't what I expected it to be. And I ended up like, I guess like breaking some bones along the way. I can't think that's a good analogy, but I definitely like landed on a harder surface than I thought I was going to land on, and it ended up hurting a lot more than I thought it was. Just like a really big surprise.
Yeah, I read this thing when I was trying to find the excerpt that we read previously, and one woman, I almost used it, but it was anyway. She was saying, whenever we go through these traumatic experiences or big changes or things that cause a lot of fear in our life, she said, imagine it as though you are on your computer, and every time something new happens, you file it into this computer, you file it, or this folder, you file it into that folder, you file it into that folder. She goes, eventually, if you file everything away, you actually don't go through and clean out your file, your computer's going to crash. And you have too many files that are kind of overloading your hard drive, so to speak. And so it was,
my mom would love this.
And so I thought that was something really relatable for people to understand, just with the age that we live in.
Totally.
And I think that's what it is. And a lot of times, we've talked about this in previous podcasts as well, when you feel like you've dealt with something, it does come back. And it's not always just completely gone, you know, things that happen, there's phases, and there's circles and there's flows and all that stuff. So I think they're like, to your point, there was so much going on, and for people that, number one, aren't used to having that much thrown at them over and over and over again, it's too much.
Yeah.
My files are overfloating. My hard drive is full.
Yeah.
You can't give me one more thing to file away because there's no more room
Right.
in my hard drive. Like,
Yeah.
I can't do it. So I think a lot of people feel that way.
Yeah.
And for me personally, I've felt the ebb and flow in life, and I've felt moments where I have totally lived in survival mode for a very, very long time.
Yeah.
And I've felt like I've thrived, and I'm thriving, and I'm thriving, and like I said earlier, and like, you know, just living. Currently, right now, I kind of have phases throughout week to week. Sometimes I feel all three.
Yeah.
I'm not really currently stuck in one place. I'm kind of riding.
Yeah.
This week I'm feeling like I'm just kind of living, and this week I'm like, oh, this is great, or you know, I'm kind of just riding that, you know.
Right. Yeah.
But the value of a dollar, doesn't get you very far anymore.
No.
And I think even the people that I know that are very stable and maybe not feeling like they're in survival mode, that's hitting everyone.
It's hitting everyone
In some way or
Yeah.
another. And I understand that economics has to go through these ebbs and flows as well.
Yeah.
But I think that's hitting a lot of people right now, and that's a big challenge of can't afford rent, can't afford to buy. It's not just affecting a certain demographic of people. I mean, it's hitting a certain demographic of people in a really hard way that I feel for that. I understand that, and I am sensitive to that. These things,
Just talked to a girlfriend about it just the other day.
Yeah.
That it's really discouraging. That word got brought up. It's really discouraging that we have good jobs and we get paid an amount that should support us.
Yeah, be comfortable.
But right now we're living paycheck to paycheck and having to count our pennies. But I want to enjoy my life now. I don't want to subscribe to, sorry, but our parents, especially like my dad's side of the family, philosophy of work hard now, enjoy life later. I'm not guaranteed a later. No one is. I want to enjoy my life now. So how do I find the balance of like enjoying life and working hard for it, but barely being able to pay my bills? It, like you said, it takes a hit on your mental health.
It really
does.
does.
Just trying to find this balance, and not that like joy comes from spending money. No, but the reality is things cost money.
So again, I am grateful that we have the jobs that we have, and we're able to provide what we have. And like I said, I'm don't feel like I'm struggling financially right now, which I'm incredibly grateful for. I'm very frugal.
You are.
And you know, so it's not because I'm just like rolling in the dough. But yeah, I want to acknowledge like we have it a lot better than some people, and it's still really challenging. And I feel for those that have it even harder, a lot harder, you know?
Yeah.
What about daily life right now? Like just day to day in survival mode? Do you find the hardest? Is there one thing, or is it just?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So currently my job is getting up in the morning, going to work, and I'm there for like 4 hours. I usually stay later, and then I come home for a couple of hours, and then I go back to work in the evening, and I'm there until I have to, it's nighttime when I come home. It's usually anywhere between 7:30 and 8:30, sometimes 9 p.m. that I come home, make dinner, go to sleep. And I'm finding that right now is messing with me, because even though I get those few hours in the middle of the day to come home and be home, usually I do some work while I'm at home. But I feel like I'm waking up, going to work, I'm at work, and then I come home and go to sleep.
Yep.
So that's what that's feeling like right now. And even though I had a job before that I woke up in the morning, ran to work, and I was there until 4 p.m. and then went to teach my class and came home, this feels different. This feels like, even though I have this time at home, which is nice, definitely, I just feel like I'm working all day and I'm not getting that, which is strange because I am, but I'm not, because either way I have to leave. Like, I'm not done with work for the day. It's not like I get to be done and then, you know. So I'm finding that that's difficult because I can't really settle into me time if I wanted it. So that me time is getting pushed away. And as much as everyone needs it, my personality type, I'm just speaking for myself, I need time. I don't get it. I get like angsty.
Yeah, I mean, I get it. And I think that's why it's so hard when I've had people of the older generation be like, we did it. Like, we had kids on our own, and or we had like the 5 kids, and you know, like you guys are a little softer. Like, it's, you guys complain so much more about like motherhood, and instead of like, you just do it. Like, I've heard this from a lot of people, and I'm like, okay. And I like, my mom worked 2 jobs and had 2 girls, and you know, the things, but also their things are just also different. Like, I can't do it the way that my mom did it with my, and not that she did any, I'm not crapping on my family, please. Like, we'll get sensitive here. I'm not saying that at all. I'm just saying things are different.
Speaking your truth and telling your story.
Well, and I'm not even, it just, you, nowadays, it's just not the same. You can't run it the way that you ran it before. Like, I'm not saying my mom did anything wrong. I'm not saying that. But I can't do it the same way. It's just different. It's a different thing. And just speaking of me time, I am a parent, so I need to like, we get very little of it, and all of that on top of, you know, you go home and it's I get home by 7 most nights, but then you got to with your kid, and you're doing the job of being a mother, and you're being, you know, I pick her up at 5, you know, all the things. But even after I get off work, in the car, and you're picking, it's not, I'm not complaining about it, but like, there's, you know, everything is, whether I'm at work or I'm out of work, even when I'm out of work, you're still working. And that's life, and that's being a parent, and that's being an adult. So I'm not saying like, oh my God, I have to work. Oh my God, I need to take care of my kid. But it's okay. And I'm sure every parent feels this way. But like, just to your point, it's like, it's normal. That's what being a parent is. That's what being an adult is. You work and you take care of your kid. Like, this is normal. I'm not complaining about it. But you don't get as much me time. You don't get as much, I want to do what I like. Your life is more about that, and that's okay. But that does cause a lot of burnout, for sure. And the stressors in life of just being able to provide shelter, food, car, gas, extracurricular, school, books, like just, you know, the basics of living in this country. Once that becomes harder, then when you go home and you need to parent and all that is just a little bit harder, then like you said, you get that it's like this added thing sometimes. So I feel that in another level. For sure. And as much as I appreciate the social media culture of live your best life and all that, and I'm buying into it. Like, do it, live your best life, do the things that you can do for yourself, find this time for yourself, try things. Let someone tell you can't. No, like, I'm so subscribing to it, for sure. But also, I want to ask, what does living your best life mean right now with like where we are? Like, what is, if you were to say like to mother right now, how can you live your best life?
Unfortunately, the first thing that came to my mind, which I didn't even like plan this answer at all, but making more money. Why did that come to my mind? I really dislike that was the first thing that came, but I feel like it just takes so much stress off of you. Because there's so much that I stress about when it comes to money. And like, just doing it alone. Doing life alone. And what you experience is on another level, but different. Because you still have her there. I do. You know, and I'm not saying like one is better, but like no, not at all. It's been weighing a little heavier lately because life is so stressful, or I feel like I'm in this survival mode, like not having someone to lean on, or excuse me, to hug at the end of the day, or
I sent you that. Did you get that the other day?
What?
I think it was either a meme on social media or a text message, and there was like a statistic of how a certain amount of hugs a day take a certain amount of stress away. And I said, I'm going to give you 800 hugs when I see you. I did. I didn't do that. You didn't do that. I'm so sorry.
Get 800. I did that like 2 weeks right.
We need touch. But
I'm speaking on that. Like, I know some people aren't touchy people, I'm such a touchy person. Like I thrive off of physical touch, whether it's with a partner or a family member or even my friends. My friends tell me, I know it's you behind me because you always grab me from my shoulders or my hips or like a squeeze and a kiss. Like I'm so touchy and affectionate with the people in my life. That's why when my old roommate moved, I was devastated because she had a dog and I had a dog to come home to every day, and even like that was what's hard is that I couldn't get a dog before because of my schedule. Now I have the schedule for a dog, but I can't afford one. Here we go. But I think that's a big part of it for me is I don't have someone there. So even if like these stressors are what they are, I don't have anyone to lean on. And not that I need someone to pay for my bills, like I'm doing it, like I pay for my bills.
It's nice to partner with something. It's nice to know you can rely on someone to help you with
For anything.
Yeah, totally. Yeah.
Bills would be nice. But listen, yeah, I'd be lying if I'm like, I'm not going to let anyone pay for my bill. Listen, if you want to help me pay for my bills, take it. I will take it. You help me pay for my bills.
I'm not shaming you at all.
No, that's not what I seek. I'm not that female. If you want to be kept, that's
but
you.
if you're sharing a life with someone, it's nice for at least have 50-50
to have a split.
It's nice. Yeah.
Even just the split of cleaning the house or doing laundry or, hey babe, I got dinner tonight or like whatever. And, you know, even just living with a roommate who you're close with, like you can share those moments, even if they're not a partner in your life, it's still someone in your life that can share that. But anyway, that's thriving. First thing that came to my mind was finances. If I could be making more money,
living your best life, just not having to worry about it.
I really don't want to worry about money.
Well, I think
that's the last thing I want to worry about. I'm just fucking sick and tired of worrying about money. Like I'm 34. I've been working really fucking hard my whole life. I'm still worried about money. It takes a toll on all of it. Yeah. Ooh, yeah. That struck a chord.
Yeah. Yeah. I think living my best life, there are so many things that I would love to, let's just go for it. Let's try it. Like I have like dreams, or I don't want to call them dreams because
call them dreams,
goals, or I mean, I'm just saying I don't want it. For me, when I say it didn't feel right. When I said dreams. So I'm not predicting a dream. I'm just saying, I'm just saying like, it's more like a goal of like, I have ideas of like, I think I could do that, or I'd love to try to do that, or like, there's things that I would love to try to do in my life.
You have great ideas.
Thank you.
You do.
And I think for me, living my best life would be, again, to know that I could be financially stable enough in some way to go, I'm going to go for it. And if I shoot for the moon and I fall in the stars, or I shoot for a star and I fall in the whatever, if it doesn't work out, like I went for it and I learned something from it or whatever it is. You need money. To pay the bills and support a life, and you're like, you need to do that.
You have a whole human you're taking care of,
and myself too. Like, but
even if you're making that decision for you, and if you choose to like live on someone's couch while you figure it out,
get a job,
that's different for you.
Totally. So I think for me, feeling financially stable enough to be like, I'm going to do the thing that I would love to try to do. Or do something for myself, or the dreams, like, you know, the artist in me, the creator in me, the wanting to, like, all the things that I have ideas for. Feeling safe enough to do it. And again, that comes down to finances, as everything does. This is the world we live in. It's fine. I'm not hating on it. Like, I don't have a bad relationship. I am not too proud to say, like, I would love to make all the money. To be comfortable as possible, to help people, like do all the things. Like I am not like. Do I think it makes a person? Do I think it's like the most like no? But am I? Do I want to? I like money. I want money. It makes my life a lot easier. Hell yeah.
Speak it into existence.
Yes,
I am abundant.
and again, I'm not I'm very grateful for where I'm at right now. But I don't, So I think living my best life would be that. I'm sure there's women out there who didn't have that and who were single moms, 5 kids, and still went for it. And they're going, girl, like you're holding yourself back. And I very well may be. And it may be a fear that I'm telling myself, and but that to me, that's living my best life. Of going like, I'm gonna go for it, regardless. I'm gonna like, let's just go for it and do it. And it does come down to money right now.
Yeah.
It does. I think that's just the world we live in, and especially the world we're living in right now.
Yeah.
Now the next one,
Yes.
still on the topic of phrases that are very, very supportive, very well intentioned. One-liner shiners, but one that I go, let's look deeper into that a little bit. What about the phrase, it's okay to not be okay? I'll start with, I totally agree with it. Like I said, I'm subscribing to all of these things. I'm not saying there's anything negative about them. I'm just going, currently, if we're really not okay, again, how can we not be okay?
Yeah.
When and how are we, as someone going, it's okay to not be okay? Yeah. You can take time off, take a break, reload, reset. Like, it's totally okay. Your mental health comes first.
Yeah.
You can stop. Like, that's a beautiful saying. It's totally okay to not be okay. But like you said, then you're in survival mode and you still got to get up and work. But when do we get to not be okay? When do we get to find help? When do we get to go do the thing that makes us feel reconnected to ourselves? Everyone's like, you got to find the time. If it's important to you, you'll make the time. Okay. That's hard to see sometimes. Okay, when can I make that time? Yes, you're right. Yes, I should do that. There are things that I don't do because I don't want to ask for help from people, or sure, there's truth to that.
Yeah.
There's definitely truth to that for sure. But also, sometimes you need more than a day.
Yeah.
Sometimes you need more than a couple of hours.
Yeah.
You know, how does that work? Tamara, how does that work?
Girl. I don't know. When I was younger, I was blessed with the job and schedule. Everything had pros and cons. There's ups and downs to everything, but I was able to take time off whenever I wanted and however long I wanted to. So sometimes I'd go back home for a month. Sometimes I'd go back home for 3 months and just work at home while my classes were covered here. And like, that really helped a lot, but I'm in a different space now and I can't do that. But on that phrase, when you mentioned it earlier, it definitely was a little, I guess, triggering.
I know. I've so overplayed that
in
word,
a way, because I know, and then like you say it, and you're like, everyone's triggered, but listen, it's a thing. Because I am really good at putting on the brave face and not wanting the attention to be on me. And this isn't a woe is me comment. Please don't take it as one, because it has taken me a long time to like be okay with this. But I do much better in an environment where I am the supportive one and not the supported one. Yeah, it took me a long time this time around to reach out, like a really long time. And I really, Bianca was the one who told me it's okay to not be okay, because it's validated. I count my blessings, and this is what I do. I like talk myself out of, and that's part of the problem too, is like this toxic positivity on the other side of it. I'm not feeling good, but like, look, it's right now, currently it's 40 degrees outside and raining, but we need rain. Hailing. And I have a warm place to be. And I do this every day. It's not a bad practice, but it doesn't necessarily need to minimize exactly what you're feeling. That's what I allowed it to do. And it's not a bad practice, and it's one that I've really built up because I'm so blessed. I have these beautiful, my orchid bloomed again after 2 years. Like, Troy. Honestly, that's her name. Brings me so much joy. And I have a warm place to sleep at night. I have a car that is brand new and runs perfectly, which I haven't had. I worked really hard to get a new car, and that was a really big accomplishment for me. I have a job that I do what I love. Like, there's so many things that are so wonderful in my life. It's like, why do I feel this way? Why do I continue to feel this way, and why can't I get out of it? And Bianca was like, no, it's okay. It's okay to not be okay. And I was like, ooh, I'm just really resistant to being the one that's not okay.
Mm-hmm.
And it's come to my attention that I am not okay.
Yeah.
I'm trying to work through that right now. That is where I'm at.
And sometimes you're just stuck for a while.
Yeah.
I think the important thing to know and remember, and I think you do know, is that even if it feels like a very, very long time, it will be temporary.
Yeah.
But and I know you know those things, and I know that you don't respond good to people telling you things that you already know, and that's why I just shush up. But also, if you want support,
it's fine. I know.
Here's support too, and for whatever it is. And I'm not trying to minimize your feelings at all. I'm not even putting this on you right now. I'm just saying for anyone else that may feel that way, I'm really trying to generalize it, going, I understand and I get it, and I'm not saying I feel exactly the same way that you feel or that I understand exactly what you're feeling right now, but I understand being stuck.
Yeah.
And I understand what it feels like every day to wake up and not be stoked.
Yeah.
Or not even be a little bit stoked.
Yeah.
And to have to push forward and put on the face, and it's so glorified, and in a way it's like, yeah, you did it and you're strong because you got through it and you kept doing the thing, but it's like, yeah, but I also need, oh my god, there was this thing, this just came up.
Yeah.
I think I sent it to you and I wish I had it on my phone ready to go right now, because it made me start, it hit a nerve with me. But it was this man talking about the glorification of being a strong woman. And he put it so well, like, she's had to be strong.
Yeah.
She's strong because she's had no choice.
Yeah.
Because she's had to be. And really hitting the nail on the head with, I don't know that being strong definitely is a choice, because you can totally choose to just wallow in your sorrow and not get through it.
Right.
But also, I think people need to, she's so strong she can get through it, or she'll be fine because she's so strong, or she's gone through so many things, or like, whatever it may be. Sometimes, and that's what the message was, be a person that she can be weak. Be a safe space where she's allowed to not be strong. Provide a space where you can go, it's safe for you to not be okay here. And you don't need to be strong here. I don't know that I've ever felt like it was okay to not be.
Yeah.
Because you have to move forward and you have to keep going. And that's the thing. It's like, but if someone, and I'm not saying, again, wonderful support system, but especially there's something really beautiful about like a masculine energy, at least for me, going, you can be weak here.
Yeah.
You can be vulnerable here.
Yeah.
I won't judge you. I won't have this expectation,
like
be scream and cry and whatever it is, and like, I got you, man or woman. But for me, I think it was so powerful coming from this very strong masculine energy and saying that and getting it and understanding. And I was like, same thing. He started talking and I was like, whoa, okay, thank you for saying.
It is really interesting, right? Like how different you react to a man being that supportive. I'm going to be broken up probably for the rest of the episode. So this is what we're going to be at. I definitely have female support. There's only really a couple people in my life that I can truly be vulnerable and real with. The only man in my life that I was able to do that with was with them.
And that's a blessing. I mean, I'm not trying to minimize anything, but like, that's so beautiful.
It's really hard to be in a space where you need something that you can't have. And I just really need my dad. And this is mourning. It's 14 years later, it doesn't go away, and it's a bummer to say that to people. When people lose their parent, they go to people who may understand, and I've had a lot of people come to me when they lose their parent, or just someone close to them, and they're like, yeah, but it gets better with time, right? And it's so hard break the news. No, it doesn't. You live with it better. You find your ways of healthy coping, hopefully. You find how to channel it, but missing them
Or needing
them, that never goes away. That never goes away. And it hits me in moments that are surprising, and it hits me in moments that are not surprising, but like a song, a moment, a smell,
Totally.
anything could bring me right back to that moment. And a lot of times it brings me joy. A lot of times when I'm reminded of him, I get happy, I smile. And there are times when it hurts so much that he's gone. And even still, you know, we've talked about my relationship with my mom and how it's just different. And I love my mom, and we're in the best place that we've ever been. It's just different.
Yeah, and that's okay.
It's a different support.
Sometimes a girl just needs her daddy.
Yep.
It's like you said, it's nothing against the other parent. It's just sometimes a girl needs her mommy.
Yes.
I mean,
absolutely.
It goes both ways.
Absolutely.
You know? But especially when you're feeling fearful or scared. There's just something about that.
There's absolutely.
There really is.
Like no one can protect me or make me feel safe the way he did. And no one has really.
Yeah. And fair.
Yeah.
And I'm sorry. I mean, I'm not, I was just going to say, I'm not, it is what it is. But like, I feel for the space that feels empty now because of that. For you is all I'm saying.
Yeah. And there are moments when that space is filled with love and memories and look at me go, Dad, you know?
Totally.
And then there's times when that space feels really empty and dark and hard to ignore.
I get that. In continuing on, on the topic of it's okay to not be okay. I'm going to, I guess, segue into the time that is needed to take. This podcast takes a lot of time, and we love it.
Yes.
And it's definitely a passion project to a T. It fills a part of my soul and my life that I need to be filled. And I love, even though it's very time consuming, I love doing it. I wish I had more time to do this instead of other things. I genuinely love having a podcast, but we need to allow the time.
So there's a reason why we chose this subject, and Alana has been so understanding and kind and patient with me because it has been very difficult for me lately and unfair to the podcast and unfair to her. I have not been able to give 100%. I don't even really, if I'm being honest, like been giving 50% to it. And it took really just genuine honesty and conversations with each other to decide to take a break. And I don't want this to be the thing that we have to do, because we are gaining traction and there's a lot of people who have been really involved in messaging us and saying how much they love the podcast, and I'm so glad, and it's so nice
that it's hitting with some people and it's connecting. That's the goal.
It is so nice, but if we weren't being true to who we are and what this podcast was actually about, then we would keep going. But the fact of the matter is, it's me, it's not you. It's a me problem. I understand, but my mental health has definitely taken a left turn.
And this isn't goodbye.
This is not goodbye.
No.
This is not goodbye.
This is not goodbye
At all. I just want to be in a space and be able to deliver what this podcast and what Alana deserves. And I'm not. I'm just not. And this is really scary to put out. I always feel comfortable with being honest in this space because it's with you. Mm-hmm. And whenever we record, we're not recording live out into the world. Mm-hmm. It gets put out later. So
it's like an intimate space.
Right. So it's such an intimate space. Mm-hmm. And you're one of the safest spaces in my life.
Vice versa.
So sure. That's why I open up so much here. But there's been a lot of stuff coming up for me lately, and it's not just what's going on in my life. I'm just hitting this phase and dip where not only day-to-day things are becoming really difficult, but old shit has been coming up and surfacing.
It's files.
And it's heavy shit.
We gotta clear out the files.
Really heavy shit. Mm-hmm. So this is our pause button right now so that I can heal and figure this out. So Alana and I can just be cousins right now. Mm-hmm. And we can move forward when it's time. But I can't even begin to explain how good it's felt thus far. Mm-hmm. The podcast never feels bad. Mm-hmm. I'm just feeling bad right now. So I need to feel good to do this. But the support and the love and everyone who's been involved has been amazing. And we cannot wait to relaunch when we're refreshed and ready in the future. We don't have a date set or anything. It's really this mental break that needs to be made. And thank you, Alana, for being so, I can't even explain to you how calm and patient and loving she's been with me through this when she has had every right to be upset and frustrated with me on how much I have been falling back on my tasks with this. If I'm being honest, Alana has been fucking amazing. Your support has meant the world. And for you to calmly be the words she has said to me are, it's okay. You don't even have to explain anything else. We can do whatever you need to do right now. I love you regardless. The podcast will still be a thing. Don't worry about it. How fucking amazing is that? You're amazing. Thank you.
I'm not crying, you're crying.
It is so important to have someone in your life that can step outside themselves entirely and truly say, you don't even have to explain it. It can just be, and that's okay. Mm-hmm. And I didn't realize how much that meant or was needed for me, because I don't allow, that's another side of me. I don't really allow that. So to have her just be no, this is what's happening, meant the world. So thank you.
Of course.
And I love you.
I love you so much. And this could be something much larger than this podcast. This is our very small garage band passion project. Yeah. But this could be something of a much larger magnitude. Yeah. And if this is how you were feeling, babe, of course. That's this family and love and friendship and these connect. This is what life's about. Yeah. And this is what's important. Thank you for your beautiful words and your recognition. I really appreciate it. As you know, you didn't not necessary. But thank you so much. And yeah, I love you. And there's very little that's more important to me, babe. Like very, very little. I need a hug. Okay, you will be 796 more. Thank you.
On that note.
On that note, so okay.
Yeah.
Do we have time for a lighthearted, silly question? I don't even have one prepared.
Oh, God, definitely.
Knock, knock. Who's there? It's not going to be funny. Yodeling. It's still funny. Yodeling. They're like not funny anymore. This is like the third time I'm hearing a joke. But I'm glad it's making you laugh.
It makes me laugh every time. Good Lord, man.
Okay. All right. Wow. High note. What is a good and a high note?
There you go.
Love. That's the high note.
Yeah,
I love you.
I don't think we need to mask it.
Yeah.
I think that this is just what it is.
That's what it is.
Little ending note.
Yeah.
I just had a thought. 26-year-old Tamara would be so proud of me right now.
Yeah.
Being emotional
Mm.
at all
Yeah.
at that age just wasn't a thing.
Yeah.
Being emotional on camera? Are you joking? I would have had a panic attack. Gross.
Gross.
Well, you did huevos. I did pua.
Anyway, it takes some cojones to grow, you know?
We love you.
We love you. Thank you so much.
Yep. And
To
thank
our-
you for being a safe space because, hey, here are my emotions. My emotions. There they are.
Heart. Love you. Bye. Bye. Up. Pause. Not goodbye. See you later. And thanks for stopping by. No.
Back to the crumbles. San Diego.
Whales for trying.
All right.
Like, subscribe, follow, sing, dance, scream, jump, whatever. Just like, I love that.